Hello, welcome to this section. If you're joining us for the first time, kindly ensure that you subscribe and also you listen in to the various channels. We have Module 1 and Module 2 on the video attached below the channel. So kindly go to the channels and watch Module 1 video where we talk about overview of monitoring evaluation, importance, analysis, and purpose why we use monitoring evaluation. Module 2, we talked about indicators, what are indicator reference sheets, how indicators are being used. You need to understand those two modules so that you will be able to appreciate our conversation today. So for today, we'll be talking about module 3. Once again, welcome to today's module. Ensure that you subscribe, you can comment, like, and also share. For today, we'll be looking at core um, elements. We'll be looking at several outlines. Outlines will be looking at introduction to monitoring and evaluation as well as technology. We'll look at key benefits of technology in M&E. We'll also discuss tools for data collection and not leaving aside data management system also the role that technology plays in data management system. We'll have conversations around data analysis and visualization tools. We'll talk about challenges in implementing technology for M&E. We'll definitely discuss about the best practices for leveraging technology in M&E while we look at future trends in M&E technology. So what are the things, what does the future hold for us in M&E? So running straight to the introduction or the overview, which I mentioned earlier, as an overview, will be just to provide a context to today's conversation. All right, monitoring evaluation is actually essential when we talk about tracking of program performance. Remember, Module 1 and Module 2, we talked extensively about this. M&E also helps decision making. So, knowing full well that M&E does these things for us, now we need to also understand what technology really plays, how technology has transformed M&E. So, technology actually transformed M&E in different components, both in data collection, data analysis as well as reporting. So technology really play a big role when it comes to M&E. So we now, what are the key benefits of technology? One of the key benefits of technology is that it increases efficiency. So technology reduces the time spent and on data entry as well as allowing for it gives you that latitude to have a faster data collection mechanism or process. So imagine where you want to do data collection and you're using paper based. When you use paper based for data collection, it become taxing for you to it become taxing the process on its own, not just the process being taxing. When you want to analyze those things and make informed decisions with it, it becomes taxing also because you will need to collate those data, aggregate them. You need to even put them in an electronic format so that for ease of analysis. So technology plays a key role when it comes of efficiency. Efficiency looks at how fast and how time efficiency it is. So it increases the efficiency, it makes data collection faster, makes tracking of performance real time. It also improves accuracy. So in the course of paper-based collection or paper-based or let me use the word analog when you're not digitalizing things, when you're using things that are analog or probably paper-based, there is tendency that there might be validation issues where, but with technology you'll be able to put validation check. You'll be able to say, oh, I don't want things from this range to come into my data. For example, you're doing an OVC project, which is Orphan Vulnerable and Children project, or maybe you're doing a project for adolescents, and you have a age range or age bracket for your activity. The activity age range is 10 to 18, for example. All right. So with technology, you'll be able to put some validation that age below 10 cannot come in, age above 18 cannot come in. So that is one of the beautiful things about technology. But with paper based, you don't have that latitude to put, oh, I need to put this fixed date or fixed age. You won't be able to do that because the only way you won't have outliers in your data collection is when you've trained your data collectors, you've some trained data collectors will still give you some errors. All right. So you still need to clean your data and all the rigor and the stress. So improve accuracy, reducing human error in data collection and entry. One also key thing I also want to talk about the benefits of technology in M&E is that it enhances data management system. So in M&E, you have to deal with large data, and dealing with large data, you need good storage, you need ability to access them, you need ability to manage them, you need things that are effective and as well as efficient when it comes to managing your data. So technology has made that easy peasy. It has made that so easy for us so that you'll be able to have a better storage for your data. You'll be able to have an easy retrieval mechanism for your data. You will be able to store and you're able to use up additional data. So technology is really serving as a key benefit on that aspect. Data visualization also is another role that technology has helped. Data visualization and reporting, where you'll be able to develop dashboard as well as interactive dashboard or chart for decision making. So when you're able to develop such dynamic dashboard, your stakeholders, your audience will be able to make decisions. That is what technology has done for us. All right, so these are some of the key benefits of technology. Now, what are the relevant tools for data collection? Uh, for data collection, when you talk about technology, so I somehow categorize them into three core data collection processes. Where we talk about the mobile data collection, talk about remote sensing and GPS, we talk about software, survey software. So for mobile data collection, there are quite a lot of mobile data collection tools. You can use Excel for your mobile data collection. You can use different platform for your data mobile board. So when you use those platforms, when you use these smartphones, tablets, specialized apps, whatsoever, whether it's ComCare, any app that you're using, any software you're using, that is technology playing a key role in your data collection process. All right. So remote sensing is and GPS. So here you use technology to collect coordinates. You use technology to collect coordinates. Back in those days when GPS was not a thing, when it was difficult to even get geo coordinates, what we used those days is compass. I remember growing up, I was learning how to use compass. I wasn't working actually. I was in primary school, secondary school, early secondary, primary. Then we were learning how to use compass. In fact, the thing was, oh, sheep use compass, this use compass. And I've been privileged to travel by boat. So it just gave me that urge. And also watching some movies like Titanic. So it gives me, oh, I want to know what's compass, how, geocodes, oh, this, that, and all of them. So remote sensing technology has really made it easy. Even with your phone, you can get geocodes. So the ability for you to do good mapping, the ability for you to do good mapping so that you'll be able to track some locations as well as have some valuable insights about probably the environment or the environment or the agricultural settings or material projects. So when you use technology for this, that is when we talk about the data collection. So you're using technology to collect data as well as survey, all right, survey software. So there are quite a lot of survey software. We have Survey Monkey, we have SurveyCTO, we have Google Form, we have Microsoft Form also. So all these form, when you use these things to collect data, you're applying technology to your M&E process. Remember, data collection is one of the key process of M&E. Remember when we started with module one, we talk about monitoring, we talk about evaluation. So data collection is the key. So tools, you could see that technology is really playing a vital role when it comes to tools, when it comes to data collection. There are actually some pros, there are actually some cons. There are advantages of using technology. There are also disadvantages of using technology. I know we've talked extensively about advantages, where we talked about the speed, we talked about the convenience. So they are quite enormous advantages, but at the same time, there are also some limitations. When we say limitation or disadvantages, all right, one of them is cost. So in a place where you want to make relevant tools, for example, using smartphone or tablet, you may need to incur some level of cost to get those smartphones, to get those tablets. There are some data collection tools that you need to pay for licensing. For example, collecting geocodes using relevant GPS or remote sensing app, most of them require licensing. So your ability to incur some of these costs. All right. So cost is also is one of the things that making technology looks one of the disadvantages actually when it comes to data collection. Another key disadvantage is the technical access. All right. So there are tech assets. There are some these tech assets could be categorized into two form. One is accessibility of technology in certain location. There are some locations that even internet access is a war. Even till this present day, there are locations that you can't talk about internet access as working efficiently. Some locations in Nigeria, all right, some locations not just in Nigeria, in some other African countries, all right, internet access is an issue on its own. So there are also some locations where smartphones or where technical know-how it's not there. So these are some of the limitations with technology. However, all right, you cannot undermine the key role that technology has played, which is something that we've been talking from the beginning of this class. All right. So now let's look at data management system. We talked about data collection system, where we talk about the different tools that are used. So when it comes to data management system, there are there are key things that you need to understand about data management system. You need to understand about database management as well as cloud solutions. So database management has to do with using SQL, MongoDB to access and to manage database. Large data, you're managing the database, you're using this platform to manage database. So this is technology playing a key role in M&E. All right. You're able to use it to store, organize, review, look at large amount of data. For example, in Excel, have you can't have more than over 1.5 million rows. If your rows is over 1.6 or 1.7 or 1 or 2 million rows, it will not fit in Excel. The easiest way for you to know that is open your Excel file, press the end, press your arrow down, you'll be able to see the last row. So these are some limitations, but with some tools like, let's say for example, R and the likes of them, you'll be able to see these things. But we'll get there. We'll discuss extensively about that. But one thing you should understand is SQL, all these things are database management systems that enable you to have access and to manage large data. Cloud solution also, there are a couple of cloud mechanisms like AWS, Google Cloud, and the likes of them. So are these are technology being provided that will enable you to save or to store large data. So that's one of the key roles that technology is playing, as well as data integration, where you're able to integrate different different data sources, integrating maybe your survey collection tool or GPS, you're integrating it with Power BI for them to see the data collection that is happening in a remote area. Someone anywhere in the world will be able to see performance, real time, and track progress. So that is one of the things that data, that's one of the things that technology has brought in place, which is data integration. So interoperability, where you'll be able to interoperate within this and this, you'll be able to have that syncing and synergy. So data integration is one of the key things that technology has brought to the fold for monitoring and evaluation. Security and privacy. You cannot talk about security and privacy. You cannot talk about M&E without talking about security and privacy because M&E has to do with data. And when you're dealing with data, these are sensitive information. For example, you have my data around my bio data, my demography, my this. These are sensitive information. So there should be need for security and privacy. So imagine using paper based those days, When you're using paper based, you don't you're not using the security measures will say look for a file cabinet, fireproof file cabinet, put it there, lock it, it should be locked on that key, the key should be held by people that have access to this, blah blah blah, blah and all those things. But in with technology actually, you'll be able to put some level of security, limit access to certain persons that should have it, and also these are things that technology has really made things easy for us as well as made it efficient for us. Now, let's look at data analysis and visualization tools. So, remember I mentioned R earlier on. So, there are some statistical software that you can use which are brought up on the fold by technology. Statistical software you can use to analyze your data, to make inferential decisions, and also to do quantitative analysis. Things like SPSS, your R, your Python. These are statistical tools that you can use to make sense of your data. When you analyze those data using this statistical tool, you can also do visualization using Power BI or using Tableau. So you can make visual. So this is also another key aspect of technology. There is also dashboard for real-time monitoring, where we talked about, remember when I was talking about integration. So you're trying to bring your analysis from Arrow, you're integrating it to Power BI, or you're bringing analysis from Survey or from any mobile data collection to like KoboCollect. For example, I've done a real-time dashboard where as data is being collected from KoboCollect, it is there's a real-time dashboard that shows you visual of what the team are doing. So you'll be able to make decisions that say, oh, team B should move to this location. This other location has been this other locations has been saturated. So those are some of the informed decisions that you can make looking at some of these components that technology has brought to the fold. Now, it's not just talking about benefits. Remember, I've talked about some challenges, particularly when it comes to data collection tools. But right now, I want to look at holistically what are the challenges in implementing technology for M&E. So there are a couple of challenges when you are trying to implement technology for M&E. I've mentioned infrastructure and access initially. So when you're looking at M&E, you need a reliable network internet for certain data collection processes or probably certain analytical process or certain visualization process. You can analyze your Power BI, you will need internet to publish it. You can do your visual, sorry, you need internet to publish. Someone else that is in the remote area want to view your dashboard will need internet to view your dashboard. So when I say you do your visual, all right, offline is when you're using even the desktop version. So there are different things that limit people. So the infrastructure, the tools, the things to get it running. All right, you need a laptop, you need a smartphone, you need this. These are things that technology. You need licensing for certain software. So these are things that might be an issue when they are not available. So when they are not available, it poses a challenge. And most of them are not that cheap. Some of them are not most of them are not that cheap. Some of them you pay in dollars. All right. Some are fair prices. So these are things that might pose a little challenge, right? Access to internet as well as some of these infrastructure, like those components I mentioned. Another challenge in implementing technology for M&E is capacity and training needs. Right, so staff need to be trained, data collectors need to be trained, people using those technology need to be trained. So it's a challenge. You don't just bring it and people adopt and start using. So they need that technical know-how to know how to use these things. If I drop if I for example I have an intervention I'm doing and I need a real-time dashboard, I need electronic data collection to then I hurriedly made I hurriedly did licensing for my Comcare, I did licensing for my Power BI dashboard, I did licensing for Microsoft Offices, I did licensing for every tool that I feel, oh, this tool is relevant for this my intervention. I do the licensing and I drop it to my team. I say, guys, this is it. Please proceed. Meanwhile, these guys are people that have an issue. They don't have any of this technical know-how to do these things. They won't be able to use those tools. Rather, they will they will try to look at how they can make the process that they know very well efficient. So you need to build their capacity on it. You need to build their capacity and tell them, guys, this is how you use this. This is why we use this. So that they will be able to use them efficiently. So capacity and training needs cannot be left out. There's also a bit of data privacy and also ethical consideration or concerns. Why I mentioned data privacy and ethical concerns is no matter the cloud system that you might say, oh, we have cloud, we have this, yeah, it's data you're storing there. It's data. Yes, I've mentioned filing system, book, documentation, and but still, technology also has its own privacy issues. Its own privacy issues. You save in the cloud. What if something happened to the cloud? Or you saved in desktop? What if your desktop crashed and you lost those documents? Or what if something just happened? So these are challenges. Nevertheless, in everything we do in life, life is posed with challenges. Every bit of it, every day you have challenge to face. Every day you have mountain to conquer. So challenges is there. The same thing that you see, technology also has its own challenges. All right. Then we need to look at best practices for leveraging technology. So we've talked about the different technology tools, we talked about so many. Now, what are the best practices? What are the best practices or the expectation when it comes to leveraging technology in M&E? So one of the key expectations is that or the key best practices is that you try as much as possible to tailor your tools to project needs. You don't just hurriedly jump into choosing technology. You need to ensure that what are the needs of my project. You choose the right tools based on your project's complexity. You don't just pick tools and say, oh, for example, you're into enrolling out of school children into school and you decided to secure SPSS licensing or you secure SCSS software, the latest version, and you share it with your team. Your team might have it difficult for them to even make good use of that too. So you need to know what's the scale, what's the project scale, what are the things that I can do, and what are the things I can't do. You also need to invest in training. We've talked about some of the challenges posed by technology. So training capacity building is also a key bit of it. So you need to train and ensure that your team has skill to use these tools and this technology. You need to also plan for data security. And how do you plan for data security? You look at how you could do a robust data protection measures. You need to look at how you'll be able to ensure that data is being protected, including secure access, limited access, encryption, and as well as compliance with every or any data privacy standard. So these are things that needs to be leveraged on. What does the future actually hold for M&E? What does the future actually holds with technology for M&E? One of the things that is there is AI and machine learning. With AI and machine learning, you'll be able to develop predictive model. You'll be able to develop predictive model to predict trend as well as to optimize resource allocation. So with AI and machine learning, you'll be able to predict trend. A few months ago, I was able to develop a predictive model where you'll be able to tell what could be your coverage, you'll be able to tell what could be the expectation, you'll be able to tell what could be this, what could be that using AI. All right. So I developed a predictive model. So these are things that technology can it can it's taking us to. So these are the future trend. All right. So big data analysis or analytics, where we because remember I mentioned that in M&E currently you deal with data, you deal with big data. So you need technology is really, really enabling us to manage those huge amounts of data. Technology is enabling us to analyze those large data sets. So these are some of the core things that technology is helping us to interpret those big data. So you technology is that's the future. That's what it holds for us. Now, blockchain is also a conversant thing that those in cryptocurrency will be able to understand. So in blockchain industry that deals with cryptocurrencies and the likes of them, there is the security framework is top notch. That's why most of the government are trying to understand the blockchain network, trying to understand the security, how the security framework is. So bringing it into data security, knowing full well that this with a strong security strategy or framework, it would also enhance data privacy. So blockchain, currently some organizations are using it to secure the data, ensuring that data integrity and transparency is maintained as well as sustained. Internet of Things, where we deal with geocoordinates collection, remote sensing, monitoring data, and all the data collection mechanisms that we mentioned. So, Internet of Things, you're using the internet to be able to sync real-time data. You're using the internet to get these things done. So, these are what the future holds for us in monitoring evaluation regarding technology. Kindly drop in your comments. We are here to respond to every comment you like, you share, and also if you're yet to subscribe, please do so. Thank you very much. Don't fail to subscribe, don't fail to like, don't fail to share. Thank you very much. Goodbye.